Hi guys, Sensei Matt here. So in this video we're going to talk about the Student Creed. In case you don't know, the Student Creed is something that we use on the juniors and cadets classes in lieu of meditation that we would use on the adults class, and we use it to help the kids get their heads into the right place for training, and to reinforce the correct mindset for the way we should train and the way we should be behaving, ideally all the time. So I'm going to flash up on the screen now the words for the Student Creed, and then we'll go through paragraph by paragraph. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to read through all that. The first paragraph: I intend to develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that will reduce my physical health and mental growth. That's fairly obvious, really. We want to embrace positive personal and physical growth, and we want to make sure that we avoid substances, subjects, behaviors, anything that will have an overall negative impact on ourselves. Does this mean that we should be drinking green tea and eating bamboo sprouts all the time? No, of course not. We are allowed to indulge, to slip, to err, but the net benefit should be positive rather than negative. Okay. Mental growth. That's the second part of that the kids can often get a little bit confused. We could expand upon that. We could say spiritual and emotional growth too, but we keep it simple for the children. What we're roughly meaning by that is we want to push ourselves to improve in the way we behave. So it's not just about being fit and healthy, it's about being mentally strong, having good discipline, which we'll talk about in the second paragraph, having emotional resilience as well, and the skills to think critically and not be led by other people. Okay, paragraph 2. I intend to develop my self-discipline to bring out the best in myself and others. Again, fairly short and simple. Without good self-discipline, obviously, you are not going to push yourself to be the best that you can be. When laziness overtakes self-discipline, then we end up slipping into vice and poor behavior, poor health, all those kind of things. Again, the second part, to bring out the best in others. That's trickier for people to understand. How can your self-discipline impact the people around you? And it's quite simple. We emulate strong personalities. This is where the cult of celebrity comes in. It's how leaders are able to lead. When we see somebody behaving in a certain way, and they're consistent with it, we have a tendency to follow them. So in this instance here, I tend to develop my self-discipline to bring out the best in myself and others. Long story short, we can set positive examples using our own self-discipline rather than setting negative examples, and we can avoid the negative examples of others if we foster good self-discipline. Okay, and paragraph 3, I intend to use what I learn in class constructively and positively to help myself and others, and to never be abusive or offensive. So this one's a bit of a mouthful. I intend to use what I learn in class constructively and positively. That's fairly obvious when you think about it for the children. We teach martial arts, we teach self-defense, we teach movements and techniques that are potentially dangerous and damaging both to ourselves and to the person that we are training with. It is all too easy to imagine how somebody could use what we teach offensively, to use it to actively harm and hurt other people, to enforce their will on others through physical violence. That is never, and we all know this is not the purpose of Aikido, and really it's not the purpose of martial arts in general, but swings and roundabouts. So we need to use this paragraph to remind the students that what we're learning here is for self-protection and not for aggression. Okay, the second part, to help myself and others. That's fairly obvious when you think about it. We use our skills to keep ourselves safe. We can then extend those skills to keep other people safe. If we see somebody else being either physically or verbally attacked, we can use the principles of Aikido to intervene, to deflect, to diffuse, and to hopefully keep everybody involved safe and, to the best of our ability, happy. And to never be abusive or offensive is fairly obvious. We don't want to seek out being rude or aggressive or offensive. We don't want to belittle other people where there is no benefit to us for dragging other people down. Okay, so that's kind of paragraph by paragraph. Now what I want to do now is talk about my personal interpretation of the Student Creed, and I have talked about this on the kids classes before, but I want to refine what I've talked about and maybe put it out there to a wider audience, because obviously whilst the children were present for that class, not all of our kids were, and so not all of their parents or our students were. So here's my interpretation of the Student Creed. This is our manifestation of karma, I believe. When we behave in the way that the Student Creed lays out, we are creating ourselves, we are molding ourselves in a particular image. We are excuse me, we are pushing ourselves to be the best that we can be. And several times in the Student Creed it talks about how we use that to influence other people. So my belief of this being karma, well, karma isn't, in my opinion anyway, do good things and good things happen. It's not a points system. You won't get magically rewarded with a Lamborghini if you help an old lady cross the road. But, and I think this is fairly true in most philosophies, in fairness, when we do good things, big or small, we immediately influence the world around us, and we in that little bubble we make things just slightly better than they were before, and that then goes on to affect other people. It creates small tiny little ripples in the pool. Will those ripples ever come back directly to us? Probably not, but other people are then more likely to do the same, to add a small amount of net positivity to their little bubbles. And with enough people behaving in this way in a community, in a city, in a country, in a nation, we could get a bigger picture with this, we could talk globally. With enough people behaving in the way that we lay out here, huge but positive changes can happen. And we see it all the time when small or large groups of people get together in a common cause. They can change the world, they can make huge things happen. And I believe it starts with this way of thinking. Improving oneself, improving the people around you through that example, and then letting that whole thing take momentum and continuing to do it even when we don't feel like we are getting a benefit personally. We behave in the right way regardless, and we see good things eventually. Not because we're being selfish, but because that's just the way it works. Okay, so that's my thoughts on the Student Creed. I would love to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you guys think about it, obviously, because we do this all the time on the kids' classes, and some of you may have developed your own understandings on the philosophy that we teach you there. So yeah, if you've got differing thoughts or differing opinions, or even things that agree with what I've said, let us know, and it'd be great to get a conversation with this. All right, take care and have a good day. Bye.